Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new live show. It's been for a while since my last live show. Uh, Being a little bit busy, and yeah, uh, was not a good moment, I would say, to do the live show previously. But I'm here back. I will try to be back in live shows, and I hope I can do this in more regular basis. So I hope some of you can connect. So, sorry for not. Sorry for not being there in the previous live and for not telling in advance. But I hope this can go on more frequently. Since something is not working. Okay, now it's working again. Let's see. I have an issue. Let me see. Yeah, I had an issue broadcasting. I think my computer failed, but I should be back now. I'm here. First of all, I want to give an update on what's going on the hobby part. So here I have, as if you follow my channel, you know that I've been painting Robot Gilman. Okay, so I'm doing the last part of the painting tutorial that is the sword, and this will come soon, hopefully. Okay, so in this show I will not be painting this miniature, of course, because I have to paint it with once I record him for the tutorial. But the other thing I'm painting now are the aberrants from the Genocide cult. I keep painting the miniatures from the Death Watch Overkill. This is more or less the paint scheme that I want to go for the aberrants. Very white, pale skin, the orange clothes, and then I will go for the same colors for the head and the deep purple for the part that have the more genocide looking like. So I will be doing base colors for other. So this color looks like when I'm just done, I'm doing just the base colors. I will keep working on giving base colors here because I have to do something that is easy to do at the same time that I'm talking. So I will be painting that. If you want to know what is the base color I'm using for the skin, I start with the color lilac, and then I start doing highlights with just white, sky white. Yeah. So I will be doing that at the same time I'm talking. But what I want to talk in this show is about, of course, anytime that if you want to make any question, I'm open to questions. I think I need to activate the chat. I think the chat is on. Let me see. Still not too familiar with this. I think the chat should work in YouTube, and I will also activate this chat in here. So the chat should be on now. Okay. So if you have any question, and yeah, sorry that I did not prepare this in advance, but yeah, I will see if in future I can do that. So I want to talk about the new rules for 40K, being a very interesting week. First of all, very curious to see how Games Workshop have changed the way they presenting the new games and now giving much more information. If we compare this to how they did for Age of Sigmar, it's completely different. It looks like a completely different company, how they're handling the two transitions. So from Age of Sigmar from 8th edition to Age of Sigmar, there was not information from Games Workshop. They just hide everything, and they just come one day and they share everything at once. I think in 40K, I think they learn a lot from Age of Sigmar, and in 40K, they're following approach that is helping more the community to accept the new changes and the new game. And yeah, and I think at the same time, it's good for them because they will receive feedback at the same time that they are deploying the game. So they can react fast, they can fix things fast if it's needed. So the approach is that they did the FAQ. I talked about the FAQ before in some videos, so here I will not go very deep on what they share on the FAQ. And then after that, they've been releasing news or a little bit of they're sharing a little bit of the rules every day. So the first day they shared some profiles. The second day they shared some weapon profiles. So the first day they shared some unit profiles, then they shared some weapon profiles, then they talked about movement, and they finalized today, or today they shared how the psychic phase will look like. And I will say that what we are seeing is a little bit a combination of, and here I need to see how I will do. I think this will be. So what we are seeing is a little bit of combination of Age of Sigmar and 40K, what they are doing with the rules. I think they're taking the best of each system and trying to make the best use of each system, but looks quite good so far. So far, the rules I have seen are quite good. So the first thing we have to know is that there will be not any more vehicles profile. The vehicles will have wounds, toughness, and so on, like any other unit in the game. They shared. I think maybe I can go back to the community. All these rules, all these things that they are sharing are being shared in the Warhammer community. So you can go there and see the rules that they are sharing and the things that they are sharing. And I really encourage you to go there and make a look because it's quite interesting. So if we go first to the profiles of the unit, what we see is that the unit will have movement, will have weapon skill and ballistic skill. They will have strength and toughness. This is different from Age of Sigmar. So I will say movement is like in Age of Sigmar. Each unit will have their own movement. Weapon and ballistic skill, it's pretty similar to what we see also in Age of Sigmar. You have how it's called this, a value that you have to so if you have a 3+, you have to roll 3 or more. So this is the same as Age of Sigmar. The thing that is different is we have a strength and toughness. So it's not you don't win everything with the same as easily or with the same difficulty. So to wound enemies will depend on the toughness. So in that way, this is different from Age of Sigmar. The simplification is not introduced in Warhammer 40K. So we will still have toughness force comparisons. Then we have the wounds. And here I expect, like in Age of Sigmar, we'll have characters. We'll have how it's called this vehicles. The vehicles will have multiple wounds. We can see it now later here when looking at the profiles. Then the units will have also a number of attacks. This is mainly for close combat. They will have leadership, and they will have a save. So if we compare to Age of Sigmar, the main difference is that instead of having an automatic or a fixed number to wound the enemy, an automatic, will say a fixed number, it will do toughness comparison against the strength of the attack. So yeah, not this simplification is put in here. So the first two profiles they share, the first profile they share is a tactical squad, so the tactical marine, the basic one. It will have movement 6 inches. It will have a weapon and ballistic skill 3+, so they will always wound on. They will always hit on 3+. They will have strength and toughness 4, 1 wound, 1 attack. They will have leadership 7 and 3 plus safe. Also take into account the FAQ. We will have modifiers to hit depending of the cover, depending on different parameters. So this 3 plus can go, can be worse, and the savings will be modified by the weapon. So weapons will not have any more AP, and it's not going to be all or nothing. They will introduce modifiers, in the same way that we have the rent in Age of Sigmar. So weapons will have a type of rent. So you will give a -1, -2, or -3, or even more maybe to the saves. And some weapons, as in Age of Sigmar, will do multiple wounds as well. So to represent the strength of the different weapons. We are going to see this in more detail later on. Okay, so then the Dreadnought, if we compare to the Dreadnought, for example, will have movement 6 as the Space Marine. Also will have weapon and ballistic skill 3. So here they will have the same ability as a Space Marine. But then what we see is that it will have a strength 6, okay, and it will have toughness 7, so it will be more difficult to wound than the Space Marines. So we'll have 3 plus wounds more than the Space Marines. It will have also 8 wounds. They share, just for to have a scale, they share the last cannon profile. Last cannon profile, I think, is doing D6 wounds. So even a direct shot of last cannon will not kill a Dreadnought from just one lucky shot. It will have 4 attacks, leadership 8, and save 3 plus. So on top, if you are hit by a last cannon on a 6, you can still save from this shot. Then we also have here Reboot Gilman. Okay, remember, Dreadnought have 8 wounds. Yes. Then we have also the profile of Reboot Gilman. This will give you the idea of a iconic and monster size character. Okay, so Reboot will move 8 instead of 6, and here is where we see in the past monster creatures were moving 6 as well, because so now we see that the things that you can do personalize his movement. We will expect that the monster will move a little bit more than the infantry, most likely. So he has movement 8. Of course, he has weapon and ballistic skill 2 plus, so he's always hitting on 2 plus. Toughness 6 and strength 6. 9 wounds, so means also that he's quite resilient. 6 attacks, leadership 10, and 2 plus armor save. Last cannon have a modifier of -3, so he still save wounds from a last cannon on 5 plus, taking into account that it does not have invulnerable save. I don't know exactly if the invulnerable save will stack on top of the armor save. We have to see. In the case of Age of Sigmar, both saves are stacking one on top of each other. But in 40K, normally this is not the case. So I'm curious to see how they will treat the invulnerable save and the armor saves. So let's see this for future, unless they have shared and I have missed. Then we also have the profile of the Terminator. The Terminator is like a Space Marine, with the main difference that he has 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and 2 plus armor save. And it also has +1 leadership. So it's really quite a better profile. Than it's not just the armor that is better compared to the Space Marines. We also have there 1 boom more. The +1 attack also have been there. The Terminators are elite Space Marines, and they always had 1 additional attack. But the +1 wound, I think, is a nice addition. Most likely, yes, most of the weapons that can damage easily Terminators will also have will also cause multiple wounds, but good to see that they have add a wound. So at least if you fail this save when you are shot by a bolter, you don't die. you still have one another one to survive. Okay, so the profiles, I don't think they are. Yeah, I think it's good that they have simplified the weapon skill and ballistic skill. We will not compare any more weapon skill in close combat, so I guess you will hit automatically. We don't have initiative anymore, so initiative have disappeared. And then I guess I'm looking forward to see how we are going to do the close combat. I know that when you charge, you have the initiative by default, but what will happen if you don't win if the close combat is not finished and it's going to the next turn? Okay, so this is some questions that are still open. Of course, this is just a fast look to the rules that will come. Not the complete set of rules yet, neither. So we need to be patient and, yeah, as patient as we can. Although we can keep looking at these new rules that are being shared, and it's quite nice that Games Workshop is sharing some of these, so we can start thinking how the system will work. Okay, but I guess it's a hybrid between Warhammer 40K and Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I go back to the next rule that they have shared, and the next thing that they have shared are the weapons profiles. And let me make just a look if there is any question on the chat. No, I don't see questions on the chat. Okay, if we look, the new Warhammer weapons, they have shared three, I would say, iconic weapons and different ways. So we have the Flamer, we have the ball gun, and we have the last cannon. And the Flamer is important because this will show us how the templates will work. Okay. And the first thing we see that the Flamer have not any. So templates, it's was mentioned, so that they will disappear. So what I was meaning is how what they used to be template weapons, how will work with the new system. Okay, so this way for me it's interesting to see what they did with the Flamer, to see what is the direction in Workshop, because here they was speculating if they will cause automatic D3. Remember that we still are in a D6 system, so in principle D4 is not feasible. We only have we can have D3 plus 1, for example. You can have D3, but what they look at the end, what what they arrive is a D6 hits. So a Flamer have range 8, and it will cause D6 hits to the unit that is in range. Okay, and of course he will automatically hit. It will have a strength 4, no AP, and will do 1 damage. So how I read that is that the weapons, the basic weapons, normally they will not have AP, so they will not modify the armor, and normally they will do just 1 wound of damage. What it's making sense. Okay, I don't think there is something crazy there. So the ball gun, it's going to be like the Flamer in terms of strength and AP and damage, but it will be range 24 inches as today, and it's going to be rapid fire 1. So we need to see in the rules what it will mean, the new rapid fire, if it will work like the rapid fire today, or if they will create new rules. But in principle looks like the Volter will look very similar. So let's see what means this shooting to Space Marine. And we don't know it yet, the comparison strength against toughness. But most likely what will happen is a Space Marine shooting to another Space Marine will hit on 3+, will wound most likely in 4+, and then the Space Marine can take a 3+ save. So this weapon will not work differently than is working today against the Space Marines. But this is just me speculating, but I guess is a quite good approach, right? Then we have the last weapon we have is the last cannon. The last cannon is going to be range 48 inches as today. Okay, it will, just give me a minute. Okay, it will cost. It's going to be a strength 9 as today. So most likely we'll win on 2+ most of the things. Looking forward to see how, for example, Land Rider will look. If we'll have what toughness they will give to Land Rider. I guess they will give toughness 10 to it, or toughness 9. I guess something like that will be. And then it will have AP -3. So meaning that if you are a Space Marine, you can still save on a 6. But it's quite interesting. So until now, we were not, Space Marines were not able to save against this type of weapons. In future, they will be able to save on a 6. So also interesting, and it will cause D6 damage. So more likely you want to shoot vehicles, because if you just shoot to a Guardian, you will kill one Guardian. They also explain that the wounds will not be spread over the unit. It will, the wounds, if the Minotaur have only one wound, so the additional wounds will be lost. Okay, so but for me the big difference is that no Space Marines will be able to save even with the normal armor on 6. Of course, you don't have a lot of chances. Most likely the Space Marine will die if it's hit by a last cannon. What is what normally is happening. But yeah, it will have a probability to survive. The other thing I think the cover will change completely. The cover will be a modifier to hit roll. So most likely this modifier is going to be -1 for light cover and -2 for heavy cover, or will be just -1 by default. If we follow the principle from Age of Sigmar, it's just -1 if you're in the terrain. If we follow something more detailed, like Necromunda, can be -1 or -2. I don't know how this will work for entire units. I guess at the end they will follow the approach of Age of Sigmar, because I have seen in other rules that they just follow the Age of Sigmar approach. If they follow the Age of Sigmar approach, if the full unit is intervened by terrain or is in an area terrain, then you have this. You give this -1 to be hit by the enemy weapon. So looking forward here how they will implement this, how they will implement the modifiers in Warhammer 40K 8th edition. This will be also interesting to see. I don't think here there is much to say. We see that still, I think we say let's wait and see how all these weapons will interact. But what I see is that last cannon will keep doing the same. Most likely, none of the weapons will be able to kill a vehicle in just one lucky shot. That is happening today, and I think that makes sense. So, if you were not able to kill, how is called this, a Wraith Lord with just one shot, why you were able to kill a Dreadnought just with one shot? I think they should have the same, the same chances to survive, right? And the same weaknesses, because at the end they were quite similar. But for me, I think for me is very good that they have changed to the model where everything have wounds and deafness. For me, it was very weird that they follow some rules for the Dreadnought and that they follow a different rules for the Wraith Lord. And the same was happening between the Imperial Knight and the how it's called this, no, I forgot, the Wraith Knight, right? So I think the rule so far is making sense to me. The other thing, they were saying that everything can hurt everything. So I guess the table, instead of being the possible hard when your enemy have when the toughness of the enemy is 4 points higher than you. But I guess in future they will lock the maximum result, so the minimum result to 6. So at least always if you roll a 6, you can win your enemy. So this means that also bolters, last guards, sorry, and any basic weapon that they cannot hard, for example, advent node in future will be able to hard advent node. But for me, I like it. I like this to think that if you accumulate enough small shooting, you can start doing some small damage to the enemy tank, and all will depend how passing is the tank in and how supportive is on the how much damage it can support from the enemy shooting. Okay. So we have reviewed all the weapons. I will go to the next one. Again, I will check if this. Okay, we see the comment from DJ Piper 28. I don't like the way the flamers work. Yeah. I like the templates. To be fair, they are more cinematic. But the way, I don't know if you mean how the flamers work today or how the flamers will work in future. I think it's a good compromise. Maybe a little bit too random. I was thinking that maybe it was making more sense to do something like this 3+1. So you guarantee 2 minimum for maximum instead of making D6. D6 is very variable. So cover will not work against flamers because you will automatically hit. And cover will be moved as a modifier. So I think flamers will be pretty similar on how they are working today. Okay, the main difference, I want to know if you can have miniatures that are out of range or you only need to have one enemy unit. So because these are details that we don't know, for example, can you hard out of the range of the weapon if you are hitting the enemy unit? I don't know. This is not answered anywhere. Nobody make this question. It's not neither on the FAQ. So I think we need to try the game also to see how the different weapons interact. So far, I understand what you mean. I think the flamers with template look more cinematic, but on the other side, I think this way to shooting flamers will make them faster. And again, we have to know if we can damage or not miniatures that are out of range of the weapon. So maybe the flamer only can damage the miniatures that are up to 8 inches. So if you shoot to a unit and you only have in range one model from the unit at 8 inches, maybe the flamer can only hurt this guy. But let's wait and see. I don't know. So let's go for the other rule that was, and I think here they take a lot from Age of Sigmar on the next rule. Okay, and it's the movement phase. And I will say that movements phase or the movement will be, if it's not 100% Age of Sigmar, is 95% like Age of Sigmar. First, we will be able to run in the movement phase. Okay, it's not anymore in the shooting phase. Of course, if you run, you cannot shoot. This is exactly how it's working run in Age of Sigmar. And for me, it makes a lot of sense because most of the people, when were wanting to run, they were doing the run in the movement phase and not in the shooting phase. And this was more or less, yeah, although I tried to avoid, this was more or less accepted by the community. Because we know that sometimes if you don't do it in your movement phase, you always forget in the shooting phase. And this is one of the things that I really hate. When you are planning to do something and you just forget because you change phase and you don't want to do the things out of phase. Yeah, I think this is not adding anything to the game. It's just making you upset because you forget. Okay, it's not adding a strategic value when that happens. So I think putting the run in the movement phase is a good point. They also comment that some units will have a minimum movement, and they talk about the flyers. I expect that. I was expecting that as this is today. So I guess the flyers will need to move at least a minimum. As is the case today, and then they will be very fast. Okay, the thing that was curious is everything is running D6. There is no differences in running, so everyone will run the same. Yeah, it's curious because I will expect that vehicles will run more than humans, but I guess they do that for simplicity. But for me, the most important thing is that you can disengage from close combat, and this is a big difference. And in Age of Sigmar, is super important, it's super strategic. So I will expect that in 40K we'll see also will be also a very important point to see how this is working. But the fact that, for example, you can disengage your guardians if you are engaged with the enemy. So what that means is that you are not going to be any more safe in the close combat. Because if you are launching an assault thinking that you will be safe in close combat in the next turns because you are fighting there, this is not true. The enemy can disengage from close combat and shoot you down. They also explain that the unit that is disengaging from combat will not be able to will be able to run, but will not be able to charge or shoot. What makes a lot of sense from my point of view. So if you are just running away or you are disengaged from combat, you have all your concentration into disengage from combat, and yeah, and you don't pay that much attention on attacking the enemy. It's more like trying to hide from the enemy. So I like a lot that they have introduced this mechanic to the game. I really like it in Age of Sigmar. I use it more than once, and I find that it gives some more strategy to the game. So yeah, I think the movement is looking quite solid. Of course, again, as I say, we only see a part of every rule, so we don't know exactly how everything is working. We need to wait for the final rules to know, I guess. But at least giving a good idea what are the direction Games Workshop is taking for each type of topic. Okay. So yeah, this is another one. And then the next rules that they have shared, it's the psychic phase. This was shared today. Becoming very tired today. It's been a long week. So the psychic phase is another thing that I think they just copy. I guess they will keep a phase because they call it psychic phase. So I expect that they will keep a phase just to use the psychic powers. I think this is a good point. Okay. I think it's making the things easier. Age of Sigmar, they also have a psychic phase. It's called the command phase, and it's the only moment that you can use psychic powers, or I would say in that case, it's magic powers. And it's working quite well. And I think that it will work very, very, very similar to Age of Sigmar. So each psychic power will have a difficulty. You roll 2d6, and you have to do better than the difficulty of this power. And that's all. Very straightforward. Every cycle should use their own powers. They recognize that the system was not working well for armies with a heavy amount of cycles. They have confirmed that, and they say that they want to fix this issue from 8th edition. And I think they went to what we do today on, I would say, what we do today on Age of Sigmar. Wondering what other limitations they will put there. I'm just thinking if they will limit the number of times that you can throw the same power, how much you can stack on units. So I guess they will need to also work all these topics as in Age of Sigmar. If they follow the rule of one that we follow in Age of Sigmar, a psychic power, psychic power only, or a magic power only can be used once per phase. So if you have used, for example, in Age of Sigmar, Mystic Shield to give some additional protection to one unit, you only can do it once. You cannot pile the additional or the modifier to the saving. You cannot. So as I say, you cannot repeat the same power 2 times. Okay. On match play, if we go to open play or narrative play, then there is not, this restriction is not there anymore. Sorry, I'm really tired today. So they have put example of how a psychic power will look like. Okay, they put the smite. I think one of the most popular as well today. They say smite has a warp charge of 5, so it means that you have to roll with 2d6 5 or more. If manifested, the closest visible enemy within 18 inches of the cycle will suffer d3 mortal wounds. Same concept as we see in Age of Sigmar mortal wounds. If the result of the secret test was more than 10 or more than 10, the target suffers d6 instead of d3 mortal wounds. Mortal wound is a wound that cannot be saved by any means. So there is nothing that can save you from a mortal wound. It's the same in Age of Sigmar, but then we have things that are equivalent to feel no pain in Age of Sigmar, that you roll, and then if you pass the roll, you don't suffer the wound. There are some rolls that can be still used against mortal wounds, and I guess will be the same, most likely in Warhammer 40K 8th edition. We will have a way to save these guys from being killed by a last cannon. But I guess at the same time, it's not going to be easier because you're hit by one of the strongest weapons of the Imperium. So the other thing that they have explained here, let me remember. The perils of the war will continue, but they don't explain how the perils of the war will work. Okay, so we don't have all this information. I say this is just preliminary information shared by Games Workshop about the game that we all like. So, and I think here I will conclude. So the review of the rules. So there is no more to say from the rules from Games Workshop from Warhammer 40K. I think they are looking quite good. I see them as a hybrid between Age of Sigmar and the current 40K. I think it's quite good. What I'm seeing so far looks like it will have the right level of deepness without overcomplicating. I think today Warhammer 8th edition have so many different rules, so many detachments, so many different things that it's difficult to get for the TOs to keep track of all the different alternatives that are feasible, that are available there. Because if they know all the different things, mean that they are also playing this army most of the time. But I guess they should define in which frame we play and if we can use or not powers from our reserve. So yeah, I was thinking that will be interesting to see how. So know what we expect. So we expect that next week we will receive more rules. Maybe this book, everything said that was in summer, maybe it's coming earlier because they start very early with the campaign of sharing rules, of talking about the game. There is a lot of videos out there, not only mine, talking about the game and how the game is working and how it's structured, and yeah, all this should be in order. If you are interested in more info, but all this info is coming from the Warhammer community, not the Warhammer 40K page. It's coming from the Warhammer community. just to be and to let you know. So, and yeah, and that's, I think that's all on what we have seen in the rules. I'm looking forward next week to see more about the rules. So far, I like them. I think they are streamlined what everybody was expecting that the Games Workshop will do, streamline a little bit the rules to make them easier. They also explained that they will launch at the start more than one book for armies. Well, we will, all the armies that are today represented in 8th edition will be represented in the, sorry, all the armies that are today in 7th edition will be represented in 8th. Okay, they will have their own profile in 8th, and they will be available as of day 1 of the game. So what that means is that they will need to put the books with the different profiles for all the weapons and for all the units as of day 1. So they also explained that it's not going to be just one book. Most likely it's going to be more than one, and I expect that it will be 3, one for Xenos, one for Imperium, and one for Chaos. That's what I would expect if they say that. But I don't think it's 100% confirmed yet. So what I will do until Warhammer 40K is there, I don't think I will play any game of Warhammer 40K. I will start preparing for the next edition. And I see if I will try to play as soon as possible as the game is available. I will, once I can, I will go to the shop to see if I can play any game. I'm really excited for the changes. I really like them. What I will do now is to paint miniatures, and I'm painting, as you can see, I did not stop painting miniatures for 40K. I'm pretty confident they will be still useful. They say that, so I don't expect they will lie on something like that, because the slide track will be so big, they cannot lie in that things. They cannot make mistakes. So, and of course, this is quite a new miniature, so I don't think they will be discontinued with 8th edition. Is this miniature to be good or bad? Let's see. But they say that it's the most balanced edition they did ever. Well, I just think that, and at least they also share that they played tests with some people from the community. So, for example, for online gaming, having the chance to test and to practice the new Warhammer 40K. So it's really interesting to see what will be the critiques and what are going to be the scoring from of the new miniatures, because today Games Workshop is leaving it's making it's delivering a very nice miniatures, I would say, with very high quality. So I will be just doing that, preparing myself for Warhammer 8th edition, and see, and try to play from day 1. Age of Sigmar, it's been for a while. I expect this month to return to the campaign. I had some personal problems. Well, I would say some family bad news, I would say. And yeah, it's been quite a difficult month for me to set up games. So I decided to take it easier, not to set up games during the month of April due to these family issues that we have. I would say family troubles will be the right word. So, but yeah. But this month I expect to be able to play. Okay, so although maybe 40K have not been in the channel for a while, I'm not finding or live with the people I'm playing now that we play more Age of Sigmar and less 40K. I will see if I can go to the shop to do some games, but really I will not play this edition anymore. I think I will start preparing for the new edition. and painting miniatures to be ready. The other thing they have confirmed is that the current codexes are not going to be compatible with the new Warhammer 48, and I see why. You have seen the profile is completely different, especially the vehicles. That we don't have a clue what are the scoring they can give to the vehicles. Space Marines look pretty similar. Terminators look a little bit more stronger with these 2 wounds and +1 attack. So yeah, let's see. I expect to be able to play once the game is out. I will try to go to do some games at the shop. And yeah, and I think that's all the news that I wanted to talk. Again, very surprised how Games Workshop is doing today the transition. It's very interesting to see the different approach. I think they have learned a lot from Age of Sigmar, and they are reapplying quite well what they have learned. So yeah, I think they are doing the right move on that. The community was asking for a new edition to streamline the game, to try to make codex more balanced, and I think they are really focused on that. They explain that they have invested a lot of time in balancing the game. They have shared with some people in the community the game so they can play and give feedback and use this valuable feedback to make the game more balanced and more competitive. I'm not a competitive player, most of you will know. So what I will do now is here I will just keep painting the aberrations, the Genestealer cult that I have, and keep them ready to fight the enemies once the 8th edition is out there. And I think I will finalize here the broadcast. I think I covered all the different rules that they have shared up to now, and also the main points I remember from the FAQ. There were some smaller points, but I think these are the big ones that we are that I guess we are going to speculate until we have the final rule book on the table. So that's all for now. Unless you have any question to make to me, yeah, I will just call here the video. Okay, I will try to be more organized in future and try to set up the video to announce the video earlier so you can join if you want to join the video. But if you're watching this after recording, I hope you have found also this interesting. Please leave in the comments below if you like these live shows, if you would like to see more, and if you have a channel and you would like to do it together with me and to chat a little bit about war games. More likely my case should be 40K or Age of Sigmar. Maybe Blood Bowl can also be a topic that I can talk about. But if you're interested to do a collaboration with me, don't hesitate, send me a private message. I will really love to have some collaborations for Friday nights and to be able to have a little bit more organized video. Yeah, that's all for now. Okay. I think it's enough. I think I talk a lot. I talk enough, long enough. Let me check where we are. Just yeah, I've been talking for almost 1 hour, almost 50 minutes. So I think it's a long enough video to talk about. I hope I have covered it correctly. And please leave in the comment below what do you think about the rules from Warhammer 40K if you're interested in them. Do you like what you have seen up to now? there is something that you don't like, please leave in the comment below. What do you think? Let me know what if there is any rule that you don't like from the new rules for Warhammer 40K. Please just leave it that in the comment below. And as usual, that's all for now. Okay. Yeah, and I have to say, thanks a lot for watching. I hope have not been too boring, and I see you again later. Bye.